Welcome to the cover reveal. I lied. Just cut it somewhere. It doesn't matter. Welcome to the cover reveal of Heroes Kill Everyone by Kevin Petway. And we're already having fun, and the show just started, so you're in the right place. I would like to introduce you first to me. I am Kelly Lynn Colby, the editorial director at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing, and we are so excited for this book. And kind of terrified too, because it's our first series. It's our first series and our first complete series from our very first signed author, Kevin Petway. Kevin Petway, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm Kevin Petway.
Okay, next.
yeah. I wrote the book. I don't know what else there is to say. It has been a long road getting here, but I'm very, very excited about it. I'm very happy. I'm also a little melancholy, but it's okay because we've got more new stuff in the pipeline that's already very exciting. But this book is very, very special to me, and I'm very excited about it, and I cannot wait to get it out.
Gonna be fun. And we also have Lena Shore on. Lena, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name's Lena Shore. I did the covers for the books, and I'm married to Kevin.
Yay! So much fun. Yes, so when you read all of the jokes in the books, just remember, she has to live with those jokes.
365 days a year.
So awesome. We're so happy you're here. So we are excited about it. It was fun doing this. Bit about this series. So Misplaced Mercenaries. I have it like it's a twist on the sword and sorceries. What should readers expect when they pick up this series?
Okay, so the goal behind the entire series was to write a fantasy story that was funny, that made you happy to read it, and left you in a better mood for having read it at the end than you were when you started. I've said this many times before, but I'm a big fan of a lot of modern fantasy that's out there right now. There's a lot of really, really good stuff, but a lot of it is not exactly uplifting. There's a lot of it that's kind of grim and hard. And while I really like it, I felt like it was time for a change in tone. And so that's all this is. This isn't, oh, that person sucks, you should read this instead. This is a little different. It's funny, it's happier, and it's meant to be uplifting.
It still has plenty of darkness, though, let me tell you. So you did a really good job of balancing it. But we don't want to torture people forever talking about the series without seeing the cover is like eating sugar-free cheesecake or something. That's no fun at all. So let's reveal the cover. Do the magic. There, look at that beautiful thing. Oh my gosh. I love the reds. I love the solids behind it. The characters on it are awesome. So, Kevin, can you tell us who is on the cover?
Yeah. So with the shield and sword, that's Sarah, who has been one of our two main characters from the very beginning. And with the spear is Jasmere, Queen Jasmere, who has over the course of the series has really turned into Sarah's foil. And they have, I guess, really starting in book 3, they have really developed an ongoing rivalry, and it's kind of a lethal rivalry, and it all comes to a head in this book, plus a lot of other things.
Yes, everything comes to a head in this book because this is the last one. It's one of those books you can't stop reading. You have to finish it because you've got to know. You know this is the last one. You know that there's something big around the horizon and you just can't stop reading it. So it's pretty impressive. And Lena, you did such a remarkable job. The chat agrees with us. We have Jen says it's amazing how much detail you can get from a silhouette. Greg loves it. Wonderful work, he says. Lena, good job.
Thank you.
And I'm pretty sure this is Lahia says that looks pretty cool. She's excited. So based on the cover and stuff, I like my favorite thing that you did. So let me know how that worked. Is that if you look at this, you might think the long thing coming off is a tail, but it's not. It's her braid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did you manage to do that so that you've got that whole movement going on? That's incredible.
Magic.
Okay, next question.
Well, you just, you draw everything that looks like, movement, and then you don't draw anything that don't, and then you end up with that. I'm trying to think how to answer
Artists
that.
never give satisfying answers.
I know, that's a terrible answer. I mean, the real answer is years of life drawing.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I like it.
Lots of, you need references, for all of these. I go through and I just look up tons of images online. I'm like, oh, well, we've got, armor and positions and hair. And so you end up with, 100 images that you kind of go through and you pick and, figure out what you like and what you don't like and what works. And then you do it and you show it to your husband and he shits all over it. And then you do what he wants. So really it's Kevin. This cover could not have happened without Kevin.
I love that. You're like, look, it's awesome. He's like, yeah, I like the title, but otherwise, I think maybe. You're like, well, you wrote the title. That's you.
I gave her a sketch. That's all I did.
There was a sketch. Well, there was a sketch before. There's been a few sketches, but it wasn't until I really had it nailed down that it allowed you to figure out what you really wanted.
I love it.
It's really easy. Like she said, she had like 100 different reference things. All you do is you take those 100 things, right? And you layer them one on top of the other. So you've got 100 things all stacked on top. And then you erase everything that isn't a braid. And it's that easy. And as far as the figures, all you need to do is find a bunch of tiny little people and have them jump onto the cover. And it's done.
Yeah, and then they do it.
It's that easy.
We used to have a joke in art school. If you were looking at a heroic figure, like every measurement on your face, you can relate it to another measurement. Like the space between your eyes is an eye width, and if you draw a line straight up from your edge of your nose, it should hit about the inside corner of your eye. So there's all these measurements. And if you do a heroic figure, they're about 8 heads high, whereas a regular human character is about 7 heads high. And so you learn that, and then they tell you, how to draw a head. And the first thing you do is draw an egg. And we always laughed because we were like, we really need a book that tells us how to draw an egg,
I mean, I prefer eating them, so that's a whole nother problem. But right? I want to read the back cover copy real quick because we just put the link up. So anyone ready to pre-order this baby now? Because I know you are. The link is up right now in the chat. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it will be below in the show notes. But let me read it so you know what you're getting into. The fear of terrain and their anger under the mountain has gone on long enough. And King Keen of Greenshade has finally decided to end it, personally. Until he talks with his wife, the queen, whereupon he decides to send warrior sorceress Sarah to end it for him. By the way, I'm seeing a reflection in this relationship too. Anyways, on the advice of a troll seer and a dead god, Sarah plunges ahead into adventure and war, even though the last time she faced the Dark Queen of Terrain, she was forced to run, broken and bloody. This time, things will be different. And while this proves to be true, the results are not what Sarah or Keen wanted. Full-scale war embroils every corner of the map. The crown cannot keep their own out of danger, and the anger is whispering in everyone's ears. The world was so much easier when Keen and Sarah were just mercenaries. Dun dun dun. You have to have like dramatic music after it. Like, should we just put notes on the back cover too?
Yeah, I tell you, I can't wait to read that book.
I'm diving right in, man. Diving right in. Yeah,
And
it's really exciting.
And all kidding aside, the book cover is better for Kevin's input. I tease him a lot about it. Yeah, don't. Oh, this isn't muted. I'm not muted. He can hear what I'm saying.
We'll edit it out. It will never
Edit
go to
that
court.
out.
It's
Edit
fine.
that
That's
out.
right.
No, but you know, it's definitely a collaboration. So
Well, I think that's part of the battle, right? If you can handle the headbutting, the end is better,
yeah,
right?
because
you just have to be able to handle the headbutting.
And I think that when you're married, sometimes you just assume you understand what the other person it meant, you know, what they, and so you think you know them so well, you must know what they want. And then it can be a little disappointing when you find out you're not actually sharing the same brain.
You're like, what? But I thought.
But it turned out nice, and Kevin was a huge part of that.
Yeah, it's really good. It's got to be fun and frustrating to have, you know, the art background. We were looking at art for other stuff, this new secret project. And Kevin was pointing out things I never would have even thought of. You know, he's like, that's great, except, you know, I think that nose is not. Do you see how all the noses on her characters are? I'm like, what are you talking about? No, I noticed none of that.
I'm glad it's not just me. He's spreading it around.
It's awesome. So, Kevin, I want to know, because this is the first series you have completed, right? Beginning to end?
Yeah.
How's it feel?
So, when you spend as long with people, even if they're not real people, as I have with these characters, as intimately as I have been with them, because I'm in their heads.
You are their heads.
Yeah, you really develop a relationship with them. And have you ever read a book that you just loved so much that you just didn't want it to end? And so, you know, maybe you only read like a little bit of a day, or, you know, maybe you actually go back and restart a chapter or something like that. And you want that book to keep going on. Well, I found myself in the position of actually being able to make that book go on for as long as I wanted. And
you're like, I'm in charge. I can do this.
Right. And I had to force myself to keep going back to my outline and not adding extra chapters just to keep it going on longer, because I'm like, no, this is the story, this is what it needs to be. You're just faffing around by, you know, trying to make it last. And I've told other people this before, but when I got to the end, I cried, and I came out of my room, and you know, Lena's like, what the hell's the matter with you? And I'm like, I got done with it, you know, and I was like that for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, and you know, and then I sent it off to you, and you edited it, and then I got it back, and I read through the editing notes, and I got to the end of the notes, and it did it again. I just, you know, I started crying again, and then I actually did the editing and did it again. And like every time it put me into a tailspin for like 3 or 4 days.
Oh wow.
But
it's been really hard on me.
Yes, so sorry.
It has. It really has.
For the record, you chose an artist for a husband, so I don't want to hear it. This is part of the deal.
But honestly, that feeling is part of what makes me so excited to share it, and put it in other people's hands, because I had such a strong reaction to it. And you know, the ending is not, it's not a sad ending, but it is an ending. And there were 100 little endings along the way, as different things wrapped up. Different plot lines got tied off. This ended and this ended and this ended. And every one of them was, a tiny dagger. And not to mention my favorite chapter of all the books, of all 5 books, got cut by my editor, who thought that it wasn't necessary to the story.
That day was really hard on me too.
Sorry, I owe you a drink in Atlanta. I will get you a drink. I'm very sorry.
I have to admit that my editor was right.
But it didn't make it hurt any less. No, it
really did not make it hurt any less. But I'm planning on doing something else with that chapter, even if it's just, go here and click this button to see it. I don't know. It'll be out there for someone somewhere.
It is a beautiful chapter. There was nothing wrong with it except that it didn't fit. That was the only thing that was wrong with it.
Yeah. So. I think that may have been one of those chapters that I was saying that I just kind of tried to sneak in to make it a little bit longer.
I was thinking, you have all these extra. I'm surprised you didn't sneak more in, so maybe I wouldn't notice, right? But I didn't want to give you any ideas. But now I've said it out loud. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You really would. You would be stunned at what I cut out.
Oh wow!
You think maybe you wrote that chapter for yourself and not actually the book?
Could be. It was a very emotional chapter. Mm-hmm. And I did dearly love it, but it didn't have to be in there, and the book is long enough to where, if it doesn't have to be in there, it really probably shouldn't.
That's the sad part about moving the plot along, man. Sometimes at least now you always have a story for the rest of your writing career on killing your darlings. You have a very big one. Lihia agrees with you. I edited her work too. She's like, yeah, I feel your pain. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So I think it is time to give the people a little taste of your magic. We do have Chris is reading. Why did I suddenly forget Chris's last name? Now I just have Blanket Fort because that's his company. Is your narrator? Your narrator. He is doing the last book.
Yes.
Why can I not remember his name?
I don't know.
Look, I put everyone on the spot now, and I can't remember his name. I'm gonna have to look it up now.
I'm looking it up now too.
Yeah, just for the record, Chris Kelly. How can I not remember that name? And that's why I couldn't remember it. That's why. All right, sorry, Chris Kelly, who is an incredibly very talented narrator and totally rocks Kevin's voice for this, will be reading the book officially. But it is always really cool to hear the author's take. So I'm excited to hear your read, Kevin. Do you have to tell us anything before you start reading?
No. Only to say that I agree with you. Chris would do a much better job at this than I will, but that's okay. Job. He's not here.
Nope. He'll be here for the launch.
Dude, yeah, we totally need to make him do this. Mm-hmm. Okay. Chapter 5. Only take advice from seers if you're really sure they like you. Keen. Keen slouched against the beautiful old table in his private audience chamber. At the very top of the Crow's Tower, it overlooked all of Treaty Hill. Even in the summer, a cool breeze blew through the room. He massaged the muscles in his leg. Over the years, the pain from his broken hip spread down into his leg and up into his back. Even after the hip healed, the pain remained. Not miserable, but not exactly fun either. We don't have to climb all those steps every time you want to spend a little time alone. Queen Megan watched him, concern in her eyes, from the other side of the round room. She sat on a comfortable divan, her back straight and dark green skirt spread out before her. Just the sight of her, even after all this time, took the pain away and calmed his soul. I have no idea how Siegfried did it as long as he did. The elder chamberlain, now retired and living with Baroness Traugar, never once complained about climbing up and down those stairs, even after Keene would have sworn he could actually hear the man's bones creak. If his son Roland was half as dedicated, Keene would start a breeding program. No one ran a sword through Siegfried's hip while he was defending the castle from the Tyrrhenian army. A breeze through the window colored the air with the scent of flowers from Megan's fall of brown curls. The years painted themselves on her with a much lighter brush than they used on her husband. That's the sort of thing that ordinarily dissuades a king from charging into the field. You're a green shade right here. Keene pointed a thumb at his own chest. I like to fight. Or at least I like to stab people in the back while they're fighting someone else. Megan rolled her eyes and sighed. Ghost Eye came to me this afternoon. He says if you go with Sarah to attack Tyrrhene, you won't come back. Oh, so invading Tyrrhene is a foregone conclusion now? The ancient troll's certitude was wearing on Keene. Maybe he just means I'll get an apartment there with a nice young tavern wench. His exact words were, he will die alone and in terrible pain. But that could also refer to me catching you with a tavern wench. Duly noted. Keene would sooner jump from the window of the crow's tower and smash his balls with a pair of bricks on the way down than climb into another woman's bed. Megan had saved his life in so very many ways. He had never known what love even meant before he met her. I promise not to get caught. Keene, this isn't a joke. I know. Before we get any further, I've no intention to go anyway. If I'm going to put together an invasion force, I got to be here in the castle to make sure our allies behave and everyone gets fed. And it probably wouldn't hurt to keep another set of eyes on our idiot children. He glanced at the door. Speaking of which, you want to go scream at them now? I could use a pick-me-up. You intend to follow Ghost Eye's advice then? Invade Tyrrhene? Megan's brows drew down, twin strokes from a master artist that could never quite be together. I intend to follow up on the threats he mentioned while I get ready to kick Tyrrhene in the fucking dick, if those threats turn out to be real. Keene placed his hands on the dark wood to either side of him. He felt the whorls of the mother-of-pearl inlays there beneath his skin. What about Sarah? Megan had not moved, but her entire demeanor changed. What about her? You know what I'm talking about. She straightened her dress and stood. Stepping across the narrow rug, she placed her body against his. There's something wrong. Sarah's worried about something she doesn't want to talk about. He did not want to discuss this. He just wanted to sit here against his favorite table and enjoy the warmth of Megan's body snugged up to his. I don't know what you mean. No, you could not go that way. I mean, I do know, but I don't know what it is. Sarah's never been the sit at home and wring her hands type. She's more about jumping into the fray and fixing whatever's wrong. If something's got her rattled, I'm not sure I want to know what it is. Megan reached across and ran her fingers through his beard. I'm not sure we have that luxury anymore. Keene slumped forward further and blew out his cheeks. When did we ever? And that's it.
Yay. Love it. Love it. Yeah, no, that was a great choice. That whole thing, it kind of puts the funniness with the, with the, I don't know if bodiness is the right word, but close enough, along with the serious emotional impact. So you're able to put all of that, pack that tightly into that chapter. And the entire book is like that. So that's why it's like I said, when you start that book, you can't stop. You're going to keep reading it. So, and the laughing keeps you sane, even though you feel a little crazy. So it's necessary. Yes, so the pre-order's up if you want to pre-order that now. So you will have it in there when it comes out on January 3rd. So Lena, wonderful job. Lena, if anyone is looking for, because you also did our logo, you did our website. So you're incredibly talented in making things look amazing. So I'm wondering if people would like to hire you to do work for them, where can they find you?
You can go to my website at lenashore.com. That's lenashore.com. Yeah, it lists all my services and it has fun chameleons and things.
I do love the chameleons. They're so pretty. And what a good choice, too, for graphic design. I mean, that's just beautiful.
You know, you can make them look like whatever you want. There's different ones on the pages, so it keeps. I'm a firm believer in making work as fun as I can. So anytime I can put some little fun thing in there to, you know, it makes me happy.
You'd be surprised, though, how many of her clients think it's a frog. I mean, it's got like the long, round, you know, curly tail and everything, but
the feet, like you can't.
Right?
I don't know. I chalk it up to I think there's a lot of people that don't like lizards and frogs and bugs. It bothers them, so they just don't take a close look at them. But I happen to love them, and so I would not make that mistake. But they do. They all think it's not all, but many, many, many people are like, oh yeah, you have that frog. Okay.
You're like, now I know why you need to hire me. So let's get started.
Yes, that's it exactly.
Well, I even have if you go to my about page, there's a part about his name's Cam the chameleon. But it even tells everybody that he's a chameleon, not a frog. They never read that.
They don't read it. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And Kevin, now that people are so excited and they want to make sure they know what's going on and they find out when things are happening or where you're going to be so they can get signed copies from you, where can people find you?
All right, so let me get this up. The first thing to do is to go to kevinpetway.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter there and get a free short story. And that short story is a prequel short story, so that it takes place immediately before the events of book one. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of a fun little interlude there. Let's see. The next place I will be is Superstars, which that's not, you know, that's going to be in February, but that's like mostly for for writers and people like that. Collective Con here in Jacksonville is March 17th through 19th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center, and we did Collective Con last year, and we about doubled our normal, actually more than doubled our normal sales there.
It was a great con.
Fantastic con. We're super excited about it, and this I think might be the first year they've done it at the Prime Osborne. At least it's the first time Will had been there. And Prime Osborne's a really neat space because it's an old train station, and
that is cool.
They've converted it all over to convention space. It's beautiful. It's really, really cool. Then after that, in April, is Jordan Con in Atlanta, which Kelly will also be there. We are very, very excited about that because we got invited as guests. So that is kind of huge.
We have them all fooled. I mean, we're totally professionals and stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
And then September is Ancient City Con in St. Augustine, which is a really fun, it's a small con, but it's really high energy, and they've got there's just a lot of stuff going on there, even though it's, you know, smaller than, I mean, it's like 3,000 or 4,000 people, but it's constant goings on there, and that one has only gotten better every year we've been.
Love it.
So those are the ones I'm signed up for right now.
So lots of places. And then June, you'll be at Dallas Fan Expo with us, right?
Yeah, I was about to ask you. I didn't remember when that was.
Yep.
And all you really have to remember is Kevin's website, because there's a calendar that lists all the other stuff.
Also true.
KevinPetway.com.
Right. Just in case somebody missed something.
Yeah, but join that newsletter. You've got to read that story. It's hilarious. So yay, so excited. And I want you to know, Friday Blue says there's another reason Kevin rocks, because Lena is awesome too.
Not a lie.
And also, Lena, I don't know if you caught it, but Friday said earlier that when you popped on, she said that, you know, just so you know, all Kevin does is praise you all the time. So, you know, and that is true. That's exactly what he does. So he might be a pain in the ass sometimes, but just so you know, all he does is praise you. So he appreciates you. Keep that in mind when you want to strangle him next time.
Yeah, about 10 minutes after this is over.
That's
That's right. And you didn't pimp your newsletter, because if you sign up and you get the free prequel story, Kevin, every month Kevin does like a very humorous newsletter. They're worth reading.
They are awesome. So I have to say, a lot of my newsletters, I'm like, yeah, I'm supporting the author. Kevin's, I read them. They're funny. So
yeah, I read them as quick as I can, because I don't usually get to see them before they come out, and I always have a little, what, I should go read this.
Yeah, you're like, oh no, what did he share this time?
Yes.
And he does not change names to protect the innocent. So Lena, you're in trouble. Yeah.
Nope, that's not really my thing.
My wife, Tina,
who has a frog as a mascot. See, they'll never
Right,
figure it out. It'll be fine.
right?
There you go.
No.
There you go.
But the
That's
newsletters
awesome.
are good. They're entertaining.
They're fabulous. All right. So thank you so much. Y'all were all wonderful. So I am excited for this to get into everyone's hands. Can't wait to hear what you think. Please, if you've read any of the books, make sure to also leave a review. Yes, Kevin?
I have a question for you.
Uh-oh. Is this a public question? We're still live, you know.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Exactly. That's why I asked.
So you mentioned earlier
Uh-huh.
That this was the first complete series
Yeah.
from
the original.
First Dragon Ship.
Yes.
I would like to know how it feels for you
Oh.
to have the first finished series out there for your publishing company.
I don't know. It makes me feel more legit, I think. Like, that's the problem with being the small person, right? You know, you're the small company on the totem pole. You're always fighting for legitimacy. You're always fighting,
Yeah.
like, no, we put out good books. You know, no, look at our covers. We're not like photoshopping this stuff. These are, I mean, the professionals might be photo. We are not, right? We're
Right.
We paid somebody to Photoshop that.
But we're like, you know, they're not just things thrown together. We consider these things. We put them where they're supposed to be. We're very careful about what we're doing. We go through proofreading, we go through copy editing. We make sure that these things, we are putting out good quality books and stories. And so sometimes you have to keep fighting, So having, by the way, thank you, Kevin, having authors sticking with you for the full series and more to come. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to announce that, which will come when it launches on January 3rd. So everyone keep an eye on. So this, keeping with it and showing that we have a complete series. And when we go to events and we can see, look, here's book 1. Oh, and also book 2. Oh, and look, this one is complete. It also gives more confidence in customers when they come by. Because a lot of times customers also will be like, oh, this author seems awesome. I'm going to buy this book. And then they never get anything else from them.
Right.
So this way it can also be like, no, look, we've got this whole story is complete. It's done. So you can read from, the beginning to the end, and you've got the whole thing. Here you go. So there's something really satisfying about being able to offer that to readers. Because quite frankly, the very first thing I am is a reader. It's the bottom line. Before I'm a writer, before I'm an editor, before I'm a publisher, I'm a reader. Yeah. So that's how it all started. So from that perspective, which is the people I am trying to serve, I feel like I am serving them.
And there is so much work. I mean, I knew there was work. I knew things needed to be proofed. But watching you guys go through the process and understanding how many times it gets read and edited and story edited and grammatical edits, and it's just, in the continuity, and my head hurts. Like, I don't understand. I do not understand how that works. I mean, I can draw a horse, but I cannot. Like, my brain doesn't work that way. I'm like, how do you remember all that? But it's so much work, and people do not realize. They think, oh, well, I have a computer. I just sit down and write a book, and it's like, not if it's good. You just can't.
There are people that do, mind you. However,
yeah, they do, but yeah. Come on.
Yeah. No.
Thank you. So much work. I mean, you guys are amazing.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and
Thank
just
you very much.
just to put a period at the end of that, and this is not to you, Kelly. This is to everybody else that's here.
Mhm.
These books are multiples of times better for having gone through Cursed Dragon Ship and Kelly's stewardship than they would have been or than they were when I wrote them. I write books that I want to read. I write books that I like. But when I write them, it's almost like I don't actually understand how good it could be until Kelly gets done with it. And then I get back her comments and I'm like, oh fuck. And and I'm all pissed off and then I let them sit there for an hour or two. And then I come back to it. I'm like, yeah, okay, she's right. Figure this out. And I do, and it makes it so much better. It's so much better. And it honestly, it almost feels disingenuous to me to only have my name on the cover. And I know, Kelly, you don't feel that way, but and I know that that's standard and that blah blah blah. But you are a real partner in this, and you really bring so much more quality to it than I could have by myself. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate that and how integral to this you have been. And I want everybody else to know it too. So
I don't know what to say. Okay, I don't take compliments well.
Well, I think you're going
on.
on.
You can be mad at me again, and it'll be fine. That's all right. Zafo took care of it. Did you see what he wrote? He says, "Good thing she fixed the name thing that one time."
That was funny.
Oh God, that was funny.
Awesome. Yeah. It was super sweet, right, Jen? It was very sweet. Kevin's a sweet man. All right. Y'all are awesome. And remember what a good man he is when you read that book and you want to strangle him sometimes. Because let me tell you, it's like you said, the ending, it's not a sad ending, but it's emotional. So it's definitely emotional. So it'll be awesome. Hey, I always say, and if an author doesn't make you feel they're not doing their job, well, Kevin did his job. So you'll be happy. Awesome. Are there any final words that don't involve me?
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with everything. Do we have any questions or?
I don't know. I think we're good. Kelly and Lena, you look like you could be sisters. I know, right? We think about that every time. And we still haven't met either. Jen was talking about how she hadn't met you like Lena at Superstars. Well, she wasn't at Superstars. But hopefully I'll be able to meet you in Atlanta because you're coming to JordanCon, hopefully. Good.
Yeah, finally. I know it's weird. I think, oh yeah, we really haven't met. But I feel like we have.
I think our Kevins are keeping us apart because they know when we meet, we're leaving them and it's just us. That's what's happening. So they're like, oh no, I don't know. We can't have them meet now. This is dangerous. And then we'll start a brand new company with a big frog.
Big tadpole. A tadpole that already has feet. And then I could do the little curl tail, I don't know.
It could totally work.
Spike asks, what's next, which we can't say yet.
Nope, sorry, you have to wait till January. There is a reason why I call this the original Misplaced Mercenary series. So take what you want from that. All right. You're all great. We should leave before I let everything out of the bag because secrets I am not good at. I'm really bad at it. So bye, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully you'll join that newsletter, man. You're going to like it. And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.